This is Carolyn at Carolyn's Paper Therapy. I've got another journal I've just finished, and it's called the Pastel Christmas Journal, and I wanted to share it with you today. This has been quite a journey for me because I started this journal back in November, and within a few short days my husband was in the hospital, and we have spent the past month in the hospital and at hospice, and I lost him on Monday this week. This is his wedding band that he wore for 41 years, and I'll keep it on that finger for the rest of my days. He was the love of my life, and I'll miss him terribly. But when he was in the hospital and in hospice, I came home most evenings and was a little lost, not knowing quite what to do with myself. I was worried about him, and I was here at the house alone, and I would come in here and to my studio and work on this journal. So it has some special meaning to me, and I'd like to share some of the pages with you today. I probably will just get about halfway through, and then we'll do a part 2. Again, this is my Pastel Christmas Journal, made with beautiful, beautiful pink and green and ivory and pretty blues. The paper is just beautiful. So let's get started. As you can see, it's a little bit fat. This is made from an altered book where you actually cover the book and then go through and fold and decorate the pages. Some of the pages are actually removed to make room, and obviously I could have removed a few more pages because it got extra fat, but it's a real treasure. So here we go. This is the cover, and I use a crocheted lace on the binding here that gives it flexibility to turn the pages easily without the paper bending. This is an origami Christmas tree that I made from instructions, and I will put the link to those instructions on this video for you in case you want to make some. It's just glued on the front, trimmed with a pretty crystal star and some lace and this pretty ribbon. Isn't that just beautiful? On the inside front cover, in order to cover the cover and the inside front cover, I cut a piece of paper for the inside a little larger than the page, and then I cut the corners off at an angle and fold those over and glue them, and then apply the paper on the front. That makes a nice finished edge for the front cover. This has a sweet pocket with little bunnies and a bird and a snow-covered branch and a journal card which can be written on. I've tried to decorate this quite a bit, but also leave plenty of room to write Christmas memories here and in here. This is just a beautiful page with the roses. I love the antique roses, and the stocking filled with candy and Christmas flowers. This is where I glue the edges of 2 pages together and made a side pocket, and then I covered this with the decoration of the same design tied it with that pretty ribbon, and it could be written on the back. I punched out this on the edge here so that it'd be obvious there was something in there. And it just slides back in, and then the ribbon sticks out over the edge, which I really love that. I think I need to put something under here. Let's try this. Let's try it like this. The next page has this gorgeous Santa, all dressed in pink, knocking at the door, bringing gifts for Christmas. This page has a hidden paper clip, which I've made with the same kind of Santa with a pink outfit on. And on the back side, this has kind of a scene, a woodsy scene with bird lace trim. Isn't that beautiful? I used some of my silk ribbon and tore the edges of a page and inked it, and then decorated it with the rose trim. Paperclip is hidden inside here. I have some book page in there, and it just clips over the page, and then you can stick photographs or other journal cards up in there to write on. This next page worked out really well. I have the birds on the page together. Beautiful papers. This one I did with a lace pocket, and I just wrapped the lace around this green paper here before I glued it down, and that secured it so that it made it into a pocket. This says, "I hope the holiday season sends you over the rainbow and under the mistletoe." And this includes 2 postcard type journal cards decorated with the beautiful Victorian pink poinsettias and roses, with room to write on the back. This has Santa in an old jalopy all filled with Christmas presents, trimmed in these beautiful roses. I just love this paper. This is a page where this is a page of the book here, and then this page is folded back at an angle and then decorated and glued on these 2 sides to make a pocket. And this pocket includes a tag with the Christmas tree with the gifts under it, room to write on the back. And also then I took just a piece of the paper and folded it and trimmed the corners and made it into a little booklet type paper that can be journaled on. On this opposite page, the page is done the same way. This is a page of the book. This is folded back at an angle and glued down to make a pocket. There's another tag with a squirrel and the pretty pink poinsettias, and it's blank on the back to write on. This little tab here is a belly band that holds a couple of cards that coordinate with each other. The background here is a nice collage made of words from music and musical notes. This page has another of the origami Christmas trees. I made them in all colors and sizes out of the scrap pieces of paper that I had. I made a whole forest of them, and then I just decorated each one individually and set them aside to be placed in this journal. This is a piece of ribbon that I've frayed out the edges and then taped this saying over the top of it. These Christmas trees, I still have several of them that I made that I did not use in this journal. See how pretty they are? And they'll be placed in another journal some other day. On this page, I just made a little corner pocket here, and this has a little envelope, and inside is just a couple of little ephemera piece that has advertisement on it for toys and dolls, which we know all the children love to get toys and dolls for Christmas. You could use this to tuck a little letter in for your friend or whatever, but put it right in that pocket. This also has a side pocket where I glued 2 pages together on the top and bottom. Whenever you do that on an altered book, that gives you the opportunity to tear out some pages in between the two, and that way it reduces the depth of the book. This has just got some antique lace on the edge and room to write inside. Beautiful insert there. I used a pretty round paper clip here on the top of this page where you can clip in something on this side and on this. And on this one I just used a plain background here that can be written on, and then this is just a little bell that's tucked in under there and can be written on the back. This has a piece that I made separately, and it is a decorated tag with a bow tied at the top and a decorative little thing hanging on the charm hanging on it with a pear clip. Has a butterfly put on there, and this little sweet girl. And it has a pocket on the side that holds this Merry Christmas tag that can be written on the back. That just slides right in the side there. And that whole thing there was glued down on this background. This is that pretty ribbon, that seam binding that's been dyed and then crinkled. It's my favorite. This page has some beautiful Christmas Carol music that I ripped, and I actually used some decorative scissors to cut this edging. And after I did that, I liked it so much that I ordered a whole set of those scissors, which I'll show you in a video sometime. They're on a little carousel and they have all different kinds of edges, and that looks so pretty when you ink the edges. It makes it show up really nice. This also holds some tags here. It's pretty with the polka dots. These can all be written on the back. These that are kind of off-white like that, I actually printed the design on ivory paper instead of white paper. Gave it a more subdued color. And then this little saying, well, I guess I've used that twice, but I must really like that. This is another pretty pink Santa, trimmed in roses. Oh, these pages were fun. This background. I take a background piece of paper that's decorated already, And then I use up my scraps. I rip and tear strips and pieces of this and that and glue it on the page. And then I cut it to fit the page, and I've even used a decorative corner cutter here to make that. That's the background for the page, and then I glue it down and then decorate it. This says hot drinks and marshmallows and a touch of magic. This made a little pocket, so this little squirrel comes out, can be written on. Sprinkle with happiness, and this is filled with little beautiful little tickets that match. Everything matches. Another one of my origami Christmas trees that is larger, and some of these trims I got from my mother. She makes the beautiful Victorian ball ornaments and has lots of extra trim, and she gives me little pieces of this and that I use, and I decorated this with just a portion of a paper doily and a stitched star. This is an interesting page in the altered book. You take, this is the background page. This pocket is a page that's folded down by a third. This pocket is a page folded in half, and the same thing is done on this side. Then before you glue anything down, you decorate this page, you decorate this and fold it over, decorate this one, fold it over, and then glue it on these edges to make two pockets. I did that on both sides. I usually use the same page, same paper for the background and the first pocket and the second pocket, simply because it gets a little busy when you start inserting things. So I think that works out really well. This has a nice, isn't that beautiful? Beautiful tag to write on. I can just see someone writing their Christmas memories on these tags and dating it and placing it back in to look back on in the future. Pretty postcard. These are just little postage stamp type size decor, and then some other words that I had. On this side has another beautiful tag. I kind of put these in at an angle so they stick out. This, look at the beautiful little girls. I used a tab on here. Christmas is love. These two pages, I just used beautiful paper. I didn't add any decoration to it. The only thing I did over here was, this is another pocket that I've made with the 2 pages of the book, with ripped the pages in between out to reduce the depth of the book, and then glued this here and here to make a top pocket. And then I use a round paper punch to punch out the top so that you can see the pocket and the tab sticking out. This has a pretty clock with the pink roses. I think that's as far as I'll go today. There's a lot more in here, and I think it would be better to divide it into 2 videos for you. And again, I will put the link to the directions on how to make this attached pocket here, and the little origami Christmas trees, because that's how I learned to make them. And it gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can make up a whole bunch of them at once and then use them as you go through your journal. I kind of did these ahead of time before I even started planning the journal, and then I just had them laying out beside me, and when I would come to a page that they would look pretty on, I would use them. So I'd like you to remember that every day is a gift, and not to be morbid or anything, but I think it's very important to spend your time with the people that you love, and love them without hesitation. Dedicate your life to the one that you love and stand by their side even when they're at their worst and having their worst day. You can always lift them up by a kiss, or holding a hand, or just your presence. So always look for the joy in each day, and share it with everyone you meet. I'll be back in a day or so whenever I can have a minute to finish out the rest of this book. I hope you enjoy this video, and we'll come back to see more, and I'll post part 2 very soon. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.